Chefs Without Restaurants, episode 98 with Earl Arnett, part of our Meet a Member series.
You would think, like, if you make really good food and a lot of people have your food, that you would be like, the man and people, it's just constant nonstop business. You're just never going to have a time to sit down. And places that aren't that great or, don't have the best food, wouldn't be around that long or whatever the case may be. And it's like, it doesn't seem, unless someone knows about you who is a foodie or someone like you who has a nice platform, you put people on and put the information out there. It's hard to be seen, unfortunately. And a lot of people just follow trends. This is a popular place to eat. The food doesn't even have to be that good, but maybe it's popular on Instagram to take a photo there or whatever the case may be. So in the beginning, that was a little demoralizing, but now it's more so of a thing of, hey, listen, if you stay true to you, you're always consistent, have no negative reviews, repeat customers, new customers, the whole 9 yards, you'll be all right.
This is the Chefs Without Restaurants podcast with your host, Chris Spear. Each week, I'll be speaking with food entrepreneurs and people in the culinary industry. If you're interested in learning more about our organization dedicated to helping people build and grow their food businesses, look us up on the web at chefswithoutrestaurants.com and .org, and on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Chefs Without Restaurants. Now, enjoy the show. Welcome to the Chefs Without Restaurants podcast. I'm your host, Chris Spear. On the show, I have conversations with culinary entrepreneurs and people in the food and beverage industry who took a different route. They're caterers, research chefs, personal chefs, cookbook authors, food truckers, farmers, cottage bakers, and all sorts of culinary renegades. I myself fall into the personal chef category as I started my own personal chef business, Perfect Little Bites, 10 years ago. And while I started working in kitchens in the early 90s, I've literally never worked in a restaurant, unless you count Boston Market. This is one of our Meet a Member episodes. These episodes are meant to highlight someone in the Chefs Without Restaurants community. Instead of a long-form interview, we'll be doing a quick 10 to 15-minute show. You learn about them and their business, and I throw a bunch of fun, sometimes wacky, rapid-fire questions their way. This week, I have Chef Earl Arnett of Stee's Catering in Baltimore. You're going to find out all about his business, and I ask him questions like, is culinary school worth it? And what's something you wish you knew before starting your business? I also ask hard-hitting questions like, does ketchup belong on a hot dog? I hope you enjoy this episode, and go check out his Instagram. I think he's doing some really great stuff. And a reminder that you can help support our podcast and the Chefs Without Restaurants community by donating through our Patreon. Monthly support starts at just $5 a month. Go to patreon.com/Chefs Without Restaurants to find exclusive recipes and see our tiered rewards. And now, on with the show. Thanks so much, and have a great week. Hey, Earl, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming on.
I appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
How's things going today?
So far, so good. I can't complain. Another day, another opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing some prep work today for gigs I got coming up this week. Are you working today?
Yeah, I'm working today. Private dinner tonight. Little prep here and there. We got some more events coming up this weekend. So just got through a busy weekend this past weekend. Couple dinners and whatnot. So anything to stay busy and stay productive.
Cheers to that. Well, let's do this. Where are you located and what is your business?
So I'm located in Baltimore, Maryland, and my business is called Stee's Catering. I basically do any private chefing, off-prem type catering, in-home catering, meal prep, you name it.
So you do a little of everything in the culinary world. What's your travel radius? Like, where are you serving clients?
So pretty much all through the DMV area. People ask me all the time. They'll be like, "Hey, I have an event, or I live in such and such. Is that okay?" And I'm, if the opportunity is good, the money makes sense, and I know I can make a great event out of it, then most definitely I'll travel and come out and I'll bring all my supplies. Anything I can do to, accommodate the client, but also, keep the integrity of the food, presentation, and the service. So yeah, I'll go pretty much wherever as long as it's a great opportunity.
Do you have a crew or are you a one-man show?
Before COVID and when things were a little different, bigger events, I would, depending on what was going on, have a crew that would help. Nine times out of 10, one man show. At least I try to be.
So why the name Steez Catering?
So Steve's Catering. Steve's comes from basically means style and ease. And my favorite hip hop group coming up was a group called Gangstar. And one of their famous songs is, My Steez. The way that they just carried themselves, the style, the swag, what they represented, was just, hip hop on their terms. They were gonna put their style on it, their flair to it, but it was gonna be smooth, and they were gonna have their style, and they were gonna do it with ease. And when it comes to cooking, I try and attack it with the same approach. I want people to be like, "Wow, the food is great," but he made it look so easy, and this wasn't anything complicated, or I'm running around in the kitchen like a chicken with my head cut off or something like that. So
I think that's one of the coolest names for a business like this. I think restaurants have to have these really pretentious names with
yeah,
seemingly like no meaning to why. It's like aubergine or something like that.
yeah, something that just sounds catchy. Yeah.
Yeah. You're a culinary graduate, aren't you?
Yes, graduated from Johnson and Wales University in Providence, Rhode Island.
What year was that? Can I ask?
Yeah, I graduated back in 2010.
Oh, so you're like a young graduate there. So I went to Johnson Wales Providence, but I graduated in 98.
Oh, okay, there we go. Small world there.
Yeah, I grew up in Marlboro, Mass. So I was like 45 minutes from Providence, and it seemed like a no-brainer to me. Yeah, I stayed and did the full 4-year bachelor program there.
Yeah. I went up. I actually, so when I found out about Johnson and Wales, I was here in Maryland, but originally being from New York, it worked out because our school days were like Monday through Thursday. So, I could easily pop back to New York.
So I know this could be a long answer, but I get asked all the time, should I go to culinary school? You went to culinary school. Is it something you do over?
Yeah, most definitely. I tell everybody people, go to school for the experience. I will say, from a learning standpoint of not just food, but people, it was very diverse, which was great. You got to meet a lot of different people in regards to who were, big foodies, or people who were there because their family had a restaurant and that was just what they were trying to do. Or you met people who, hey, listen, this isn't going to work out for you. So some of your classes, you had your teachers that were very, I guess, instrumental in trying to like push people. And then you had your other teachers who were like very realistic, and they were like, listen, you look to your left, you look to your right. By the time this course is over, you won't see the person standing next to you because they're not going to pass. And it definitely instilled that, if you want to make it, and you want to be successful in cooking, and be knowledgeable, and all of that jazz, this is something that is going to have to be your passion. It's going to have to be your craft. It's not something that you can just do, on a whim or in your free time casually, or anything like that. So I really enjoyed the experience, so much so that, like I said, I ended up living up there in East Providence. And the only reason I came back here, well, one, because I got family here, but I ended up getting an internship back here. But yeah, I tell everybody, I mean, if you can go, you can afford them student loans later on, definitely take advantage of it.
Oh, that's a tough thing. I'm still reflecting on whether or not coming out with a student loan repayment of $404 a month for 10 years was worth it. But I am where I am now, so yeah, I think there are a lot more options these days. But I guess I'll
Yeah.
leave. I guess I'll leave it there. Do you have any mentors?
When I was coming up, I had a few. Well, I started, so I got like my first job at like 14. My mom knew a guy who was running a catering company here in Maryland called Grave Rock Mansion, and Mr. Clowney. And he gave me my first gig. And I was basically just, in the kitchen doing all the stuff that nobody wanted to do. But, at that time, I thought I was like doing amazing things. But between chefs there, chefs downtown, I've worked a lot of different hotels and whatnot in the Baltimore area. You just meet different people and take a little bit here and there. I would say I'm a quick study, but I like to do my own thing. So I wouldn't say like I was like under anybody per se, like, copying everything that they did. I just had a couple different chefs that were instrumental. But one guy like I never even got to meet, but always watched on TV, have his books, the whole nine yards, was G Garvin on TV1. And he was very instrumental. It was, good seeing another, Black chef doing this thing and putting his style on his, style of food and whatnot. I took that to heart, and that was something that I was like, hey, listen, this is something I can do and put my own spin on it and whatnot. And, here I am.
Well, what's your style of food that you like cooking?
I would say well, really, I try and accommodate what if any client hits me up and they want something, I'll accommodate. I'm in Maryland. Seafood is big. I've definitely put my spin on a lot of different seafood. So I would say, I guess maybe, mostly American for what people order from me. But I'm just big on the simple things. Like, I mean, even being in Maryland, you can go to some spots and a crab cake isn't what you would think it should be or would be. You know what I mean? Either it's filler or it's just plain or whatever. And it's like,
we have strong opinions on crab cakes up in this place, don't we?
Yeah. So it's like little stuff like that. So I would say definitely, the seafood is a major hit.
You do a lot of lamb chops too, don't you?
I do a lot of lamb chops, and it's so much so that like lamb has become. I eat a lot of lamb. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like it's and there's always something different you can do with it. You got your traditional, just roasted rack of lamb or whatever the case may be, but I now got the jerk style. I'll put the crab meat on it, or you got so many different options that you can do with food and make it your own. So,
what's something you wish you knew before you started your business?
That's a good question. I would say something that I see here a lot. You would think like if you make really good food and a lot of people have your food, that you would be like, the man and people, it's just constant nonstop business. You're just never going to have a time to sit down. And places that aren't that great or, don't have the best food, wouldn't be around that long or whatever the case may be. And it's like, it doesn't seem, unless someone knows about you who is a foodie or someone like you who has a nice platform, you put people on and put the information out there. It's hard to be seen, unfortunately. And a lot of people just follow trends. This is a popular place to eat. The food doesn't even have to be that good, but maybe it's popular on Instagram to take a photo there or whatever the case may be. So in the beginning, that was a little demoralizing, but now it's more so of a thing of, hey, listen, if you stay true to you, you're always consistent, have no negative reviews, repeat customers, new customers, the whole nine yards, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I think the marketing piece, that's what I'm hearing consistently from everyone, and something that I've had challenges with too. So I totally understand where you're coming from with that one.
Yeah.
So ketchup on hot dogs, heck yes or hell no?
I'm weird. I hate ketchup. I don't know what it is. I used to eat it as like a kid. I would be more so like a nice barbecue sauce on a hot dog. No ketchup for me.
See, I love ketchup, but on a hot dog, I think it's the worst thing in the world. Like I will go through a whole container. It has to be Heinz. I don't know why anyone else makes any other ketchup. No need for Hunt's, no house-made garbage. But on a hot dog, that's just weird, man. And I guess it's something about having kids. Like kids always put ketchup on hot dogs. It's like, no, that's just not right.
I'll say ever since I don't know what happened, like something just switched overnight and then I wasn't like really into ketchup anymore. And then you just see like people putting ketchup on everything. It's like ketchup on eggs and all sorts of stuff. I'm like, it's just, I can't do it. But yeah, definitely not on a hot dog. No, thank you.
Do you have a memorable meal? Is there like one or two that stick out? They don't necessarily have to be like the best, but just like one dining experience.
I would say two. There was a spot in New York called La Traviata, and they made, house-made Italian food and whatnot. And they had a veal parmesan there that was, to me, like to die for. That was my jam right there. And they closed down like years ago, and like I was heartbroken that they closed down. But their veal was good. And then my grandmother had a million and one dishes, so it's really hard to pick one. But she did this fried corn that was like more of like a corn pudding type of deal. But like, even I would say, like, even if, and I've tried to like redo it myself, and it's just not the same. That was like heaven right there, man. I say like Thanksgiving and stuff would come around, and everybody was trying to like, put their little rations up somewhere so somebody else would need it. That stuff was good, man. That stuff was really good. So those would be like the two that stick out for me.
That stuff is impossible to recreate. I have some recipes from like my great grandmother, and even if you follow it, like there's just always this like little something they did.
There's always a little something.
They didn't write it down and trying to figure out what that is. Yep. There's some of those things. So yeah, oh, that sounds good. I love like corn pudding. Was there anything new and exciting you're working on?
I'd say like over the next year or so. I mean, I like doing the freelance thing and being able to cook a variety of different things and go all over. But eventually getting a spot, a nice little intimate space. I'm not talking about anything huge, but like 15 seat, you know what I mean? Something small, a nice bar area, something where I can have a nice seasonal menu and just have my own little vibe in there. And people who come there, it would kind of be like off of how we were just talking about with, people following trends and whatnot. I don't want to be like the trendy spot. I want to be the spot where you're a foodie, I'm a foodie. You want to come have a good dining experience, come relax and try something either new or something with a twist. That's the end game right there. Something that I can have my name on and call my own. And basically, instead of, I know I'm gonna be living in there like 24/7, but I'm fine with that. Like that's all I will want right there.
So if people want to find out about you and your business, where should we send them online?
My Facebook page is Steve's Catering. We're on Instagram at Steve's Catering as well. Email is stevescatering@gmail.com. So it's like everything is just the business name. I like to be live and direct with the photos, especially with the videos, because people take a lot of photos and whatnot, but I want people to know, hey, listen, this is for me. Come see the content for yourself. I stand 110% behind my food. And everyone that has an experience with me. I wish Instagram and like Facebook and stuff on the Facebook side, you can leave, your reviews and whatnot, but people normally comment and stuff on the Instagram, but just getting more of the comments and stuff out there and the reviews and stuff for people to leave. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
It's tough getting reviews. So tough. I have like 50 reviews out of like 1,000 gigs. It's like, come on. Like exactly. I sent a follow-up email with like links. Like, here's my Google link. Here's my Facebook. Here's my Yelp. Like, put it on. People have a great time. I know they have a great time, but just getting them to just go and drop a 5-star review saying everything was great. It's so tough.
Exactly. And it's like, that's what I had like the website set up for. And I could send a link to you and say, hey, listen, if you like this and that, you know how people do. Oh, yeah. And then it's like, man, they never get around to it. Yeah, if every time I had an event, someone left a review, I think that would definitely go a long way. People don't understand how good, positive reviews are.
To everyone listening out there, go review a business. Just go. It doesn't have to be our business. If it was my business, please go review it. If it was his business, go review it. But like, it really means a lot to small businesses. Also, this podcast, again, I have like 40 reviews and 30,000 downloads. That doesn't seem quite right. If you love the show, you can only rate and review on iTunes right now, but go do that. But thanks so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity, and we're gonna have to get together one of these times, man, and get in the kitchen.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, man, we'll have to set something up.
Yeah. So to all of our Chefs Without Restaurants listeners, as always, this has been Chris, and you can find us at chefswithoutrestaurants.com.org and on all social media platforms. Thanks so much, and have a great day. Thanks for listening to the Chefs Without Restaurants podcast. And if you're interested in being a guest on the show or sponsoring a show, please let us know. We can be reached at chefswithoutrestaurants@gmail.com. Thanks so much.